Thanks for watching Numbskull News. And today, we got to talk about some stuff that was put out there just a couple days ago by Greg Pflugar. College football's peek around the corner now. I am a fan of Greg Pflugar. He does great work. And I take his work seriously. When he hears things from what he calls money purchase from whatever direction, I pay attention. Okay, so now he has somebody from UNC, and they're talking about future plans. They're talking about dissolving the ACC conference, and that it only takes 10 teams to do so. You may be saying, well, Greg Pflugar is full of crap. No national media is talking about this. Keep in mind, there's a lot of times he's talking about things well before the national media puts it out there. It's not like they don't know, but there's different reasons why they can't break a story because they don't want to burn sources or whatever. Greg Pflugar is the same way. He doesn't want to burn a source, but for what it's worth, the guy he has at UNC knows the guy. His main source that Greg Pflugar used to break the story of USC leaving the Pac-12 and going to the Big Ten. Pflugar had that before anybody else. And there's several things he had before anybody else. So, he's been right on a lot. I don't always agree with him or his sources. That's what this video is about. But I take his sources seriously, that they are somebody. They're not the hot dog vendor. Okay? They're not. They have information. They talk to people. They know people, whether they're in and around the school, the athletic department, or on the periphery with access. Either way, he knows somebody who's putting this out there. So, UNC leads the fight to dissolve the ACC. Then, from what I understand from what Mr. Pflugar said, then they help rebuild the conference. But only with about 10 teams, somewhere in there. Apparently the same amount of teams it would take to dissolve the conference. It only takes 10 from what he said. I have a couple of questions. And I'm going to use this information as a receipt to some of the things I've been saying about UNC going to one of the big two conferences. But I do have two questions. The first question. So let me get this right. UNC gets Florida State, Clemson, Miami, a few others, Magnificent Seven, whatever. And, add on a couple of teams, and then they all vote together to dissolve the conference. And then they rebuild said conference, but ACC slim, less teams, smaller. Okay. Why wouldn't they just go to the SEC or the Big Ten? From what we've all been hearing, what every SOB with a microphone has been saying, or a pen or a laptop to write stories, every national whatever has been that UNC is the most valuable and the most sought after university, sought after athletic program for the SEC and the Big Ten. So, why would they go and just rebuild the ACC? Because let me tell you something, super friends. A ACC slim isn't worth, and you're not going to get the media contract anywhere close to what the SEC and the Big Ten get. So why do it? Why? That doesn't make sense. Keep in mind, not that long ago, we had, last year, there was a board of trustee from UNC that was freaking out, we got to get the hell out of here. We're going to get so left behind as far as being in the ACC. Well, I think I know the answer to why would they dissolve the conference just to rebuild it as the ACC Slim, ACC 10, whatever, is because there is no invite. There's no invite for UNC to the SEC or the Big Ten. There have been no third-party talks. There were between Louisville and the Big 12. That's a factual thing. That's been out there. That leaked out. Third-party talks. That stuff happens all the time. Texas and OU. You bet your ass there were third-party talks well before there were first-party talks with the SEC. Probably about a year before it actually happened. Same thing with USC and UCLA. And we know it was reported last summer that Colorado was in third-party talks 8 months before that move, before they announced that they were leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12. Roughly 8 months of talks. And at the beginning, third party. So what it's telling me is somebody in and around the program with access, with knowledge. The reason they're talking like this is because they've heard nothing, crickets from the SEC, crickets from the Big Ten. Oh, there could have been some small little third or even fourth party talks, whatever that is. There could have been some small little thing from one of those two big conferences if this is the team they really want and they're just, ejaculating all over themselves to get UNC, they would write a memo, a post note, something. They would get something over there to North Carolina, to Tobacco Road, to make sure that they're available when they them. As Mr. Sankey once said about realignment, we're going to be ready. We're going to be nimble. What does that mean? That means they're going to be a sneaky little shit. So, where is it? Oh, you're going to rebuild it. UNC is going to lead the charge to dissolve and rebuild. That's because there's no pathway to the Big Ten and the SEC, like I've been telling you people forever. If this guy really does have knowledge of the inner workings of UNC and knows some secret stuff and lives in a little conspiracy, if he really knows something, then he knows they ain't got a shot in freaking hell of getting into the either one of the big two conferences. That's what it tells me. Secondly, my second question. 10 teams, ACC Slim. What does that tell you about carriage fees? Carriage fees. They must not be that important if you're wanting to nut cut a shit ton of teams out of your conference. I mean, I'm guessing Boston College would be one of them that gets nut cut. Possibly Syracuse. Yeah, I mean, if I wanted carriage fees, why would I want to be in New York or Massachusetts? Why? I mean, it's only like a gigantic population center. Kind of goes against your whole thought process, doesn't it? Because last time I checked, Rutgers was in the Big Ten. Why are they in the Big Ten? Is because they're in New York, the number one market in America, the biggest population center in this freaking country. Okay. What that tells me about carriage fees is that everything's going to streaming and no one's counting on them. That's what it tells me. Hey, We might lose some markets. Pfft, kiss our ass. It's not about the carriage fees because eventually they're going to be streaming anyway. And another thing Greg Flugar himself said, they not just want a new re-upped deal with ESPN, but they have to have a major streamer on board. Yeah, a major streamer. So with their carriage fees, which by the way is the biggest reason that has been put out there, and it's the only reason that makes any logical sense for SEC or the Big Ten to absorb UNC. And don't tell me about a commissioner, 2 commissioners ago from the Big Ten that was just, having daydreams and night dreams and wet dreams about having UNC in the Big Ten. That was a long time ago. The landscape has changed. The environment has changed. The money has changed. It's a different world than when that old fart was running the Big Ten. Now it's Tony Petitti. Tony Petitti knows a little something about networks, about the business of sports, of entertainment. He knows where it's going. So does Brett Yormark. And trust me, Greg Sankey has been filled in. And the people in UNC, they may be arrogant, they may be jackasses, they may be completely annoying, but they're not stupid. Except for one small thing they kind of are stupid about. If you think you're going to dissolve the conference just to rebuild it, good luck. Good luck. Because now you got ESPN. By the way, they already have the ACC, right? But you're going to dissolve everything. Okay. They already have the freaking conference. Why would they pay you more money for less content? Where's the sense in that? Where's the sense in that? Like I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, you're keeping the bigger brands of the ACC, but outside of Florida State, Clemson, and Miami, where's the ratings coming from? I love Louisville, but they're not over 1 million viewers a week on average, year after year after year, like Florida State, Clemson, and Miami are. They're not. It's good rating. Hey, Louisville gets great Big 12 ratings. They're good. They're good in the Big 12, but not. Like I said, you're nut cutting a lot of content out, and you think ESPN's going to pay you more for less. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, could theoretically UNC, gather these teams, and if a dissolve option is there, could they get it done? Probably, especially since Florida State and Clemson won out anyway. Are they going to want to rebuild the ACC just to make maybe a few more bucks? I doubt it. Look, UNC isn't going to the SEC, and they're not going to the Big Ten. And if this story, if there's any real smoke to it, and I don't believe Greg Flugar is going to do a 2-hour live stream based on this information unless he really believes that this is coming from a real place, from a real person, with real information, real inside knowledge, real access to the information sources. And if that's true, he's only putting that out there because there's been nothing, not a smoke signal, nothing from the SEC and the Big Ten regarding UNC. At the same token, Florida State and Clemson are suing the ACC, trying like hell to get out of there. You don't think there's been any third-party talks? Nothing's been reported, but that's a hell of a lot of action to take and a hell of a lot of money to spend for what? Maybe we might be able to get in one of those two conferences. That's a little weird. And it doesn't make logical sense. Because there's not stupid people at Florida State. There's not stupid people at Clemson. They know something. They know something. And when you got the two big conferences, oh, we're not interested in expanding. We're not interested in them. They've been a problem. They're suing and they're doing all the smoke screen, people, for legal purposes. But look, guys, we're going to find out what happens. I think 2025 is going to be a damn interesting year for a lot of this kind of shit. You know, is there any validity to teams in the ACC, UNC included, being able to dissolve the grant of rights, dissolve the conference, and get teams the hell up out of there? Or are they going to stick together and try to rebuild this thing? Which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Just doesn't. Sorry. Doesn't make sense. But we gonna find out. We gonna fuck around and find out. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.